As I call your name, if you could just confirm that your name on the screen is correct and let me know who you're representing here today. I have a Darren.
Yep, Darren Myers. I'm architect with Bowerman Myers Architects, working on behalf of the client and the contractor.
Okay, great. Welcome. And Scott Avera. Welcome back, Scott.
Hello, Mr. Sturkey.
How are you? You are a neighboring property owner, correct?
Correct.
All right, welcome. And Andrew Huber.
Here.
You're the applicant on the project, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna GC for the project and applicant representing the owners.
Okay, thanks. And I see we also have Trey Sheldon from the zoning department. Welcome, Trey.
Thank you, David.
All right. On the applicant owner side, are we expecting anyone else to join us here today?
I sent the link to the owners themselves, but I've not received a confirmation they would be here or not.
Okay, so you're ready to proceed?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure of the hearing, and then we will go ahead and get started. So this is the October 18th, 2023 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. The case before us today is case number ZH20230148. That's 886 Grandin View Drive. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. Members of the public will then have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I'll hear from the zoning department, Trey Sheldon, if you would like to provide any testimony here today. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony and or argument that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. So anyone that would like to testify today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So again, if you want to ask any questions, make any comments, do anything other than just strictly observe, I will swear you in now. So if you could take yourself off of mute, need everyone to answer out loud and to raise their right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you guys. Darren?
I do.
Okay, thanks. All right, who's going to be taking the lead for us here today on the presentation?
I can do it if you'd like as the applicant. I think you said that's what's expected.
Yeah, you or Mr. Myers, it's completely up to you.
Well, I wanted to ask, are you the application that I made with the law department, is that something that, are you able to pull that up and share the screen that I could just more or less work through it? As far as my presentation goes, this is a very straightforward project in terms of hillside variances. You know, my clients worked with Darren at Bowerman Myers Architects to design the home. It is very sensitive towards the hillside overlay requirements. I know the variance is primarily due for the amount of cut and fill that we need, but the home design itself, as far as being a low profile, fairly low sloped roof, we're trying to keep sight lines for all surrounding properties very open. The home has a walkout on the south side, and that's probably the tallest portion of the building at the from the lower level to the roof line. But On the upslope side of the property, it is generally 1 story. The amount of cut and fill that we're requesting a variance on, I believe, was around 21, 23 feet cumulative across the entire site. And, we've tried to be very sensitive to place the garage on the upslope side where we will have the minimal amount of excavation. Then it moves to a crawl space that is not fully excavated, and then it moves as it goes down slope to a full height section of basement. So again, just been generally very sensitive to it. We've engaged Alton Witzig geotech engineers to be a part of the foundation and sign our special inspections report required by the building department. So they're going to monitor all excavation and concrete pouring. We haven't put any retaining walls. We don't see the need to put any on the upslope side. Mr. Scott Avera would be on towards your property. And then there's a couple of shorter walls on the downslope side, mainly to keep entrances to and from the middle of the home on grade as much as possible. So I don't think that there's a big ask on this project in terms of what we're trying to do. We're really not pushing the envelope in any particular way. So I don't feel like there was a whole lot of presenting that you guys were going to need me to do.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the presentation has no particular form it needs to take.
Not a lot of flourish in my presentation there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I said I put the application in. There wasn't a whole lot to it. Darren and the clients were extremely sensitive. This isn't a large home. It's not pushing the envelope in any one way, shape, or form, as far as I can tell. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that would want to make comments, but I feel like most of that's subjective when you look at the actual rules and regulations. I think it's been very sensitive to all the things that need to be considered with this type of site. And frankly, it's a developed lot in a neighborhood that was developed for new homes. And I think it's most likely a welcome addition to get another rooftop in there and get one of these lots done. So hopefully everybody else agrees.
Okay. You asked at the beginning to pull up application materials and share them. I mean, I can do that if you'd like.
If you guys are good, that's my presentation.
Yeah, and I was going to say I typically find it's easier if the speaker does that, so they have control of the cursor, so they can sort of point things out. So if you want to, I mean, essentially,
honestly,
why we're here today is just the excavation and fill relief that you're requesting. It is 21 feet. My analysis is basically going to review whether your request is harmonious with the hillside and hillside stability and that sort of thing. And so that's generally what this analysis is going to be focused on. I think you covered a lot of that in your statement, but if there's anything else you'd like to say, be happy.
Well, and I think Trey asked for and Darren gave a nice section view of this project and the way it would really be more illustrative of the cut and fill in terms of existing slopes.
If one of you guys wants to, I have both the site and grading plan.
Yeah.
That is figure 3 and the most telling elevation, the west elevation. They're both on page 3 of my staff report. So if you want to pull those up, I mean, that's the picture paints 1,000 words one there. So I'm just trying to help out if you want to pull that up.
That's, I mean, Scott, I've always pronounced your name Avery. Is it Avera or Avery?
That's a long-standing fight in my family. So it's pronounced Avery, but it sure as heck looks like Avera. So we answer to basically anything.
Well, I remember, man, I met you. It's been a few years, but
yeah, no. How are you doing, Andrew?
I'm good. And I mean, I think the four of us on here are. I would just want to make sure I'm specifically addressing you, if there's any concerns or questions on you from your end as a neighbor that I can help answer.
Well, so hold on, let's
sorry.
Let me just confirm that there's nothing else in the initial presentation that you or Mr. Myers would like to specifically address again in terms of the hillside and the cut and fill.
I could jump in for just a second if you don't mind, David.
Sure. Yeah.
There is a section that I think Trey was referring to, which we added on at his request, which was it's a section 1Z1. And I believe that's probably in your packet. Is that correct, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, if you were to pull up, my staff report's on the, it's uploaded with the case materials,
Sure.
and
I'll share my screen.
thank you.
Yeah,
Dave.
that's
It's
probably a
page-
good idea.
It's page 3.
Just
This pretty
go
much
ahead and,
tells the story.
tell
of-
me, Mr. Myers,
There you go.
which particular
There's a
drawing
cross
you can
section,
see.
says cut and fill section north to south.
Tell
That's
me
it.
when you see it. This one.
That's it down there.
Yeah,
It's bigger.
that's
figure
it.
eight.
That's it. And this is just what I want to just point out, that on all of the lots back in that subdivision, I've worked on others back there as well. The subdivision, as it was approved by planning and when it became a subdivision, it was almost a given that you were going to have cut and fill issues. I don't know in any way, shape, or form how we could approach this project any more sympathetically than we tried to in regards to cut and fill. We're actually cutting hardly over 3 feet and then filling in 2 separate sections. It's the cumulative part of the hillside requirements that always kind of get you when you stack a little bit of dirt on there and you cut a little bit of dirt. All of a sudden, it seems like you're making drastic changes to the hillside. But if you actually look here, we're stacking up in order to support a garage on the upslope side of the lot and meet it at where it is at grade. And we're carving a small section out in order to do a basement. We're actually only doing half a basement in the house and keeping the rest as garage and crawl space just to lessen the impact on the hillside. And then we're just bringing up a little bit of grade from the sidewalk up to the lower level so we can exit there and not fall off. And I just wanted to show, if you look at those black shaded sections, there's never an extreme cut. And we've tried to keep the whole project very low profile for a reason, lower to the ground. It's the style of house they wanted. So I just wanted to point that out, that graphic kind of shows the minimal amount of cut and fill that we actually did.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I see that. All right. Anything else while I'm sharing the screen, Mr. Myers?
I am good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move over to Scott Avery. Did not know I was mispronouncing that during all of these hearings, but thanks for pointing that out. Mr. Avery, anything you wanted to add to this conversation?
I mean, I was mostly here, gentlemen, just to learn today. My impression was we were doing some cut and fill a little more than maybe is zoning desired, so we can keep low in the hill, which by all means I'm thankful for. So by my assessment, if I'm understanding this correctly, we're well within the envelope. We're hugging the hill. We're doing some cut and fill to stay hugging the hill. We've got the geo in place to basically make sure that everything's not going to slide down the hill. We've retained the right people to do that. So from my point of view, it was almost a thank you for, being so considerate and sympathetic to my lot.
Okay, great. Yeah.
How was that for a comment in a
Yeah.
hearing?
When it comes to Grandin View Drive and Lane, that is a rare public comment.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Huber, Mr. Myers, do you want to respond to his comment at all?
Thanks.
Anything? Yeah.
Am I right? I guess would be the response. Is my assessment roughly correct?
I personally don't think you're going to find a better home suited for your view and your lot. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the plans that you had drawn, but I don't feel like this would be impactful in any way, shape, or form to what you guys are going to deal with. I don't know. I have a feeling that even the rooftop of this home would be below the level of your future lower level. So it's pretty darn ideal as far as that's concerned. And yes, we're absolutely going to hire the right people. We've already done some test borings and checked all the soils. Alton Witzig is going to be extremely cautious about that. I hired them, Scott, because they're not the ones that the Barretts hired originally to do that. And I don't want I felt like if I brought them on, they're going to be incentivized to say, yeah, our ground is good. And I want Alt Witzig to say, no, you need to go through this and stabilize the hillside. I don't feel like that was an intentional decision because everybody else down there has typically used the former geotechnology to do it. I think that's the name of their company now, where it used to be Thielen, but that was an intentional decision. And I feel like Alt Witzig's very pragmatic and they're going to be on the conservative side of making sure that hillside's not going anywhere, which is what we all want. You know, this is a significant investment from my owners. They live in the neighborhood. They want the neighbors to, you know, appreciate that they're going to be a part of this community. And I think they'll be a great addition. So.
Great, thanks.
Great. Let's go to Trey. Trey.
Yeah, I don't know if there's too much I can add beyond my staff report, except it just this project, similar to one we had on Lower Grandin recently, just does a great job of stepping into the hillside. It's what you're supposed to do. And so the way it's stepped, as you see, like in Figure 4, the west elevation, and in the section drawing that Darren was referencing earlier, this thing steps down perfectly. It drops down. You know, if you look at it from the north side going down to the south, it's dropping maybe 3 feet, then drops another couple of feet, another couple of feet down, and then that drops yet again underneath the front door to have the foundation be down at the full basement part, beneath the tallest part of the house. So this has got about 4 or 5 steps to it to fit right in the hillside and nestle right in there. And it fits. I would point out that any of those cornices can stick out. Those are allowable building projections, so they're fine as far as the maximum building envelope. And the rest of it, the chimney, I would point out the chimneys are allowed to extend above that. So a lot of what you're seeing in a massing on the west elevation that comes closest to the top of the building envelope is actually a chimney, which is an allowable projection as well. So this thing just fits really neatly within the side that's closest to Mr. Avery there. The north end, is very minimal. It's essentially a ranch up there, a 1-story, as Darren and Andy both pointed out. So my only question is, Darren, can you design one of these for me, like in Colorado over a stream if I win the lottery?
I'll go in on the Hatsy.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, we'd be glad to, right?
All
right. Thanks, Trey. Mr. Myers or Mr. Huber, anything in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Let's leave it at that. I haven't a chance to review the application materials. Very familiar with the neighborhood, having doing several hearings around here before. Based on that, based on the staff report and the testimony here today, I am going to approve the application. I think most of you guys know I need to formalize that decision in a written decision, and so that, like I said, typically takes about 2 weeks. The summer rush has sort of died down, so hopefully I can get that out to you sooner. As soon as I finish it, I put it in a PDF. I email it to everybody in the hearing here. You guys will have a copy of it, really just moments after it's complete, and then Trey can approve the permitting on his end. So. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. If you want a status update on the decision, just reach out to me directly. I'll let you know where I'm at. But yeah, I think that's it. Any questions right now?
No, I mean, my only question, and this is, I'm sure it sounds like a typical builder question, and I know you've got rules and regulations, but with the winter coming in, time is of the essence. So anything that can be done to speed that up would be much appreciated. With all of the neighborhood globally, it's fairly dry. We got 3 days of rain coming, but the sooner we can get the earthwork done and this backfilled, the better. But I understand there's a process, so that's it.
Yep. Yeah,
Thank
no,
you
it's just a queue that I got to get through of some cases from the past couple of weeks. But like I said, those are significantly lower than they have been over the summer, and so I should be able to get that to you soon, and I'll do everything I can to do that for you.
Much appreciated.
But it will be approved. So anything that you can do, knowing the approval is coming.
Okay.
And Andy, you and I spoke something. I recently went out of town. I'm back. I have no time. Times I'm going to be away from the office. So But the minute, pretty much the day that he gets, David issues the decision, I will.
You
flip
guys
this.
already know how.
I will flip this for you as soon as he
Thank you.
issues the decision.
I'll stay out of your hair. I appreciate everything you guys do.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks, guys.